How are you guys doing today? Really appreciate you all coming. My name's Generes. I own vision for ServiceNow. What does that really mean? When you really look at it, we look at what is going on today. We look at what's going on tomorrow. And how do we enable ServiceNow to apply that to make work better for people? Because that is what we're all about. Now, you're here to talk about blockchain for good. You're here to understand what is good, right? I mean, we're really trying to figure out what is good, what does that mean? And when you start looking at it, it's this aspect of, are we living up to our ESG promise? So when you really see, oh, this is not working. Guys, can you help me? Thank you. And the other screen isn't working either. So guys, I have no notes, and since I've been hit too many times in the head, my short-term memory is shot. That was actually part of my speech, but here we'll go. Give me the best you can, right? When we look at this, we look at the very first piece. Is it safe and secure? These are just my visualization of the blocks. If it's safe and secure, does that mean that we're okay, we're good to go? When we think about blockchain, yes, we do. Next thing we want to look at and focus on is reliability. Well, with reliability, we definitely have that with blockchain, but the challenge is that, what does reliability mean? Does it mean speeds and feeds, or is it something else? And finally, we focus on transparent. When we think about transparency, that's definitely blockchain, right? So if we really think about it, and yes, I still have no notes, so we think about, if it is safe, if it is reliable, if it is transparent, then it is trustworthy. Now, that's what we all need. That's all what we want when we go through and really make sure that we're trying to do this right. So what does that mean? When you start looking at it from a perspective of good versus evil, you can do anything with technology. You can use it for good, you can use it for not so good. When you start thinking about it from a perspective of the internet was great. It is great. We're able to learn. We're able to actually do and, be able to get information, the information we need. But the internet has its challenges. It actually shows that we're actually looking at information in multiple ways, and sometimes opposing views of the same data, right? On top of that, when we look at from the lawful side, we know that there are aspects that are spun by the naysayers. One of my very good close friends in finance actually said to me the other day, blockchain, crypto, only crooks use that. You can't trust it. You can't really, this is where really chaos lies. So what she really meant by that is that when you really look into it and reflect, you expect technology to be good, to be safe, to be used in lawful ways. But there's always somebody that's trying to game the system. And when you're looking at it from that way, they're causing chaos and doing evil. So here's our first stumbling block. You can do anything with tech, but people must trust that it's used for good, that it is safe, and it's reliable and transparent. We expect blockchain. Can you go to the next slide? To foster connection. That connection is very deep for all of us. In fact, you look at your children, right? I have 2 girls, and what they're doing is they're spending 24/7 on the screens. 24/7, that's really if they could. I have to take it away from them. But there are games that simulate social interaction. And when you think about it, they're there to just keep them playing. Can you go back a slide? So when it comes down to it, we as human beings have a need for that connection. This is really where the future is driving. When we think about it from a perspective of, It's not only where the future is driving, but it's where we take this bridge from the real world, the analog world, all the way to the digital world. And what every enterprise is now doing is digital transformation, or in some cases, digital evolution. Sorry for the buzzword bingo. Anybody hit bingo yet? Okay, so not yet. Okay, good. I'll keep going. To how the metaverses, and yes, multiple metaverses, will provide a new place where we can actually interact. There has to be connections back to that experience. The bridge across that brings us full circle. One that connects us from across that many places across the business, one that helps us with connect those business networks. Now, business networks, the idea here is we want a total experience. You don't want to just go from buy your ticket, get your hotel, get your Uber all separately, have all these different interactions. You want to have one simple one. How do we connect those business networks? So, moving forward, we want that connected experience because no one company, no one person, no one customer does everything, right? We're all in this together. It takes a village. I can use metaphors like a shoemaker or a farmer, but I really suck at metaphors, so I won't go there. So we'll just keep going. We expected blockchain to not only connect us, but drive that connection further, creating that community, creating that village. And obviously, we are all here together. We have, with blockchain, started that community, started that village. When we look at the enterprise, we look at those business networks, we see blockchain really empowering ecosystems, right? This is that village. This is connecting all that. But we need the transparency. We need the trust. And to that point, why do we need the trust? Because we're actually focused on how we achieve equity. I'm talking about fulfilling equity, all right? If you can't contribute, you can't participate. If you can't participate, you can't belong. There are really many different kinds of equity. You've got race, you've got gender, but there's also the ability equity. So when you think about abilities, my education is in economics, Chinese studies, project management. Is that really useful for strategy? That's not what ServiceNow hired me to do. They hired me to be strategic. But then you also look at my experiences. Those have also shaped my abilities. I was the chief technology officer for Amtrak, a small train system that goes across the United States. We drove a lot of transformation on a very, very small budget, but that is not all of me. And as I said earlier, when we came up on stage and I didn't have any notes, I was involved in a lot of sports when I was growing up, a lot of concussions. So I actually have a disability. I have almost no short-term memory. That makes doing things like this very, very difficult. So with this, we are all going to be on the spectrum of ability. As we grow older, as we have accidents, whatever it is, we'll actually get to a point where we might have temporary or permanent, but it makes us really understand what world we're in, right? How do we do this? And then you also have to think about it from another example, location. People are located all over the world. Their location could be an ability or a disability. So how do we create accessibility for everyone, right? Because once again, if you can't participate, you can't contribute. If you can't contribute, you can't belong. And if you can't belong, you can't get attribution for the things that you do. And we all want attribution, right? Whether it's a paycheck, whether it's notoriety, whatever it is, people want to be acknowledged for the things that they do. So essentially, and if we can go, what do we expect blockchain to do for us? We expect it to solve every single problem, right? We expect it to be everything for us. Safe, reliable, transparent, trustworthy. Yet, we still have problems. We still have stumbling blocks. And when you look at it, those stumbling blocks can be seen as opportunities by thoughtful individuals and organizations and enterprises. Here you see many, many different use cases, from halal traceability to real estate. Let's go through a few of these, all right? Some of these that are actually being worked on. Voting, for example. Okay. When you look at it, you want to make sure that your vote is immutable. You don't want to worry about a hanging chad. You don't want to worry about an administrator or a voting judge to be able to say, no, that doesn't count. Because they've just taken your opinion, your vote away. You want to have trust that your vote matters. And it represents your view. Next thing, artist royalties. When you think about this, the artists want to be able to trust that they're getting attribution for the work that they've done. They don't want their work to be stolen and sold to somebody else, right? By somebody else gets the royalties. They want the royalties. So the idea is with non-fungible tokens, they're actually able to get some of these royalties. They're able to get their fair share, and it is safe. Identity management. It's so much more than just this factor of it is who we are. It's this aspect of it, our digital wallet. Enables all of our experiences. And when you're thinking about all of your experiences, how do you make sure that the digital wallet enables all of those experiences in such a way that it protects your lives? It protects your identity across our connected universe from being stolen and used for other experiences. Finally, I got here health records, right? It's so much more than just personal data. This data can actually be used to create hyper-personalized care. So it's not just about how you solve your health need. You can also then synthesize that data and take it to a point where you're now making it available for others to use. So you take all the PII information about the high fidelity of it, and now it can be used to help care for all. There are just so many options that enable basically data for the greater good. So I'm going to take one more use case, one other use case in a little bit more detail. This example, the other bar, no pun intended, sorry, is focused on radical equality. It's designed to take a bite out of poverty through the simple act of buying a chocolate bar. Simply put, a consumer buys the bar, scans the token that is included in the packaging, and has a choice, right? The choice is towards future discounts, if they so want, or they can actually help an Ecuadorian farmer buy a tree, because each time they scan, each token represents 20% of the cost of a tree. So with every 4 bars, the person consuming it can actually help a farmer buy another cocoa tree. That helps the farmer earn more and grow more. They earn a living wage. So when you really look at it, the economic benefits to the farmer, whether you buy a tree or buy more chocolate, it also enables more trees to be planted, which reduces CO2. And what are we having? Global warming, right? Climate change. We definitely need to reduce CO2. So this is a multi-area of use case for good. But it starts with a retail example. And the interesting thing is we hear about these examples, and most of the time we hear about greenwashing, right? They're acting like they're doing good, but in this case, being good. And that's exactly what we want every enterprise to be able to do. So, taking carbon emissions to the next level, right? Speaking of carbon emissions, carbon balancing. This is what we're working on at ServiceNow, and we're actually working on it with Hedera. So, I've flown 150,000 miles this year starting in February. My carbon footprint sucks, just kind of like my short-term memory. I am planting a lot of trees at home, but the idea is you see up here, you see the supply. You see the supplier, the agribusiness. You you see the bank. Yeah, I got ServiceNow here. ServiceNow could be the bank for it. But it could also be Hedera. It could be also Coinbase. It could be so many others. But as the demand from the buyer, in this case, manufacturers putting out these emissions, right? Produce all the things that we need to use in everyday life. The left-hand circle here shows how we create the carbon offsets. We actually create a green token. That green token coming from the agribusiness will allow us to actually take the emissions or the brown tokens that are coming out and actually exchange them for the better good. So essentially, we're now creating a new business network with a new revenue stream for the agribusiness. And we're creating actual green capabilities to offset carbon emissions and balance carbon emissions with the manufacturer. So, once again, we've got another use case for the enterprise, creating business networks from the farm to table, or to you, making the world work. This is helping our planet, and we do have some issues with this. We have a few stumbling blocks. Why is adoption so slow? We expected everything, but we got additional problems. It's a situation where it's hard to program. DLT, blockchain is not no low code. This isn't just drag and drop and you've solved voting. This isn't just drag and drop and you've solved ESG. It's hard to use. Users have to buy tokens. I don't know, I've mentioned that I've flown a lot, but I have to exchange dollars. And when I'm exchanging that money, I feel like sometimes the banks are making a quick buck on me. If you were here for the previous presentation, talking about how we exchange money across the world, that's an issue. Something that blockchain can help us resolve. The thing is, the final thing that actually makes the first two a little more complicated is that it's not regulated. And the reason when it's not regulated, you actually start to say, okay, how do I design my system for this unregulated thing? Is that going to change? How do I design my user experience for what the user might expect? Well, the aspect is there's so many expectations and still so many question marks that still have to be figured out. So these are some of the stumbling blocks that we have. With ServiceNow, Hedera, and the Hedera Governing Council, we're enabling essentially front-end low-code availability. We're removing issues without AR, VR, so augmented reality, virtual reality, to make the UX pleasant for everyone with the accessibility aspect. And there's immutability in governance. We're working with governments on policy while focusing on the use cases to show the transparency all the way through, from the users to the centers of excellence to ensure proper use. Essentially, we're making our digital connections seamless. I've got one more use case for you before I wrap it up. This is some of the work that we're doing with worldwide government organization, and in the world there's crisis. We've orchestrated a solution for the refugee crisis in the Ukraine. We've enabled digital ID and entitlements, the process for that. We've issued verifiable credentials with the digital ID portal that essentially makes it so that you can tie 3 processes together. Healthcare, how do you get resources, and how do you get care when you need it? This is all one life cycle that helps people get what they need when they need information, or when they need to know how to do something, or when they just need help. But the great thing about it is when they need care, they get the care that they need, all right? This is not about trusting the technology. This is about putting faith back in the human, right? These are humans that have been ripped from their home. How do we make it so that we build that trust? And it's a trust in humanity that is safe, reliable, and transparent. So this is why I believe we're living up to the call to action of blockchain for good, and really why I'm honored to actually be here speaking to you all. I really appreciate the time, and why I'm really excited that I get to work with Hedera. Thank you everyone for coming. I look forward to seeing you more during the conference. Thanks.